So it's like we're talking about the UFOs.
He still can't talk about certain aspects of it.
Floated up above the water is just like a glowing ball of light. There's no shape to it. It was literally just kind of like an orb, but a giant one. We could tell it was far away. I hope that camera is still recording because it's the only one that can see. There's a cat ball that we've always had on this.
It's never gone off.
Never gone off. And today, before we were even filming, it's been going off
5 times.
Welcome to the REMPOD, where we research and experience all things mystical. Join us as we dive deep into topics such as mystical beings, paranormal, and mysterious creatures. If you have a topic you want us to cover, or you have some experiences of your own, leave them down in the comments below to be featured in an episode.
Welcome back.
Welcome to the REMPOD.
This is what, podcast number 3?
Yes. Today.
Oh, don't break it.
Scusa. So it's like we're talking about the UFOs.
All right. So I know with UFOs, I feel like this isn't the reason we decided to do UFOs. It just happened at the same time. David Gosher, I can't remember his last name. The UFO whistleblower or UAP whistleblower came out and basically stated that no, we're not alone. And yes, there are other crafts and stuff out there, and non-human beings. David Grush had a recent interview. Just casual interview, you know. He filed I think it's like a whistleblower's kind of claim or suit in order to be able to talk about some of this stuff, and they found him, they basically said that his concerns were credible.
Yeah.
So that he is able to talk about certain things, but not all of the things.
Why would he be able to?
So we did watch the interview, and it's funny because a lot of the stuff that he's saying feels like, if you watch it, it feels like he's purposefully not saying anything with his answers.
Yeah.
But it's because he still can't talk about certain aspects of it. So you have to say it in such a way that won't get you in trouble.
Because it will get you in trouble.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of concerns of like people, like if they've seen something or they know something, they're afraid they're gonna get got. But what is your take on UFOs? When did you first, I guess let's start from the beginning. When did you first hear about UFOs or learn about them? Or UAPs as they're now called. When did you first hear about them? What were your first initial thoughts after learning like more about what UFOs were? And fast forward to now, what your thoughts are on them now.
So I don't remember a specific time when I first heard about them. I guess just growing up, my whole family's like interested in paranormal stuff anyway, so I just have heard about it just like casually my whole life. So it wasn't until I don't know, it's probably when I was like end of high school that I actually started to be like, wait, that's not normal. That's not a normal thing to happen. So yeah, and then I started to make YouTube videos about it.
Oh yeah, you do have the one.
Yeah, and that's really when I started to research them.
Okay. Can you talk about a little bit about what you saw when you were out at the beach?
So we live near a place that is known for UFO sightings.
Yeah.
So it's a very touristy spot too. So one day we were out on the beach at night. It was me, my sister, and some friends. And it was nighttime. And we were looking out over the beach. We're literally on the shore of the beach. And then this giant ball of light like floated up above the water horizon and just like stayed there.
It's called the moon.
Oh, I see it every night.
Big old UFO.
So it just like floated up above the water. It's just like a glowing ball of light. There's no shape to it. It was literally just kind of like an orb, but a giant one. We could tell it was far away.
Mm-hmm.
And it just floated up probably like 100 feet above the water and just stayed there for like probably a minute.
Was it like close to you guys, or was it like out over the horizon? Like you were watching it like over the water, or what? Like from like you sitting on the beach to where it was assumed to have been. Like, was it close to you guys? Like,
Okay, so where I'm talking about is Pensacola.
mhm.
And we were at Pensacola Beach
Mhm.
looking at Gulf Breeze.
Okay,
And it was in between Gulf Breeze and
gotcha. In that little like
yeah.
pocket of
Yeah.
water in between the two. Okay.
So I don't know what could have taken off. It literally came from the ground, so it like floated up,
Weird.
stayed there for like a minute, and then just like foop, gone.
So it came from the water.
Yes.
Essentially. That's so wild because a lot of the sightings and like the military videos that they have leaked and have since been released all start with like stuff by the water where it either
Yes.
goes in and out of the water or just like floop disappears
Yeah.
into nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Well, water's a conductor, so
Yeah.
it probably gives them energy just like ghosts.
which is hilarious to me that it disappears in and out of water. We have spent the United States has spent so much time researching space and what's out there. They haven't even begun to see what's underneath the water.
Yeah.
Because you can only go so far because of pressure. But
And that right there is why I don't get on the water.
but that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we're exploring space. We're trying to find like everyone thinks associates aliens and spacecrafts with outer space
Yeah.
and all of this. But what if they're right beneath our feet?
Ugh,
Like-
they are the creatures.
What if, because I mean, there's always a joke about like the reptilian race that lives underground, or like
Yeah.
and like how we were talking about Fae and how they live underground and all
Yeah.
that. But I mean, who's to say that there's not something under the water? We just haven't gotten to it yet because we haven't explored what's under there.
Because we can't.
Yeah, because our technology can't handle the pressure.
And it's just funny how everyone's like, oh, certainly not.
Oh, certainly not. Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Certainly not, but
Yeah.
only like 20% of the Earth has been actually explored.
Right. That's crazy to me. I feel like with all the time that's passed, they have just completely ignored, at least from my understanding. I'd have to do research. They can totally still be working on this, and I'm just oblivious to it and know nothing about it. Figuring out ways to go deeper.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've gotten to a certain point, but you can only handle, again, zero pressure, we can do. Tons and tons of pressure? No.
Yeah.
You can get crushed.
That's why it's hard for me to believe, like, River is very into, like, space and all this stuff. And they're like, oh, they traveled light years away. We can't even go underwater a couple feet.
Yeah.
What makes you think that they're, like, years and years away?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I think an interesting aspect I got from that interview too was how they associated or related or correlated UAPs or other entities, otherworldly entities, aliens, what have you, whatever you want to call them.
Isn't that the
To-
actual description?
Yeah. They are equating essentially alien life forms or non-human life forms being able to come out of different dimensions.
Yes.
Like there's a dimension that we can't see,
yeah.
and that's where they live. And were we not just talking about on our first podcasts how spirits and entities, it's a possibility that they are walking on a different plane of
Yes.
existence that we can't see?
Yes.
So maybe, crackpot theory, conspiracy theory, what if when we do these investigations, we're not just speaking to spirits or fae or something. We're actually speaking to the non-human alien entities that live in this ethereal plane.
That's creepy.
It's
we look at the cat ball.
yeah, we look at it like, what
We're like,
say
yeah?
you, cat ball?
You agree with us, yeah?
Yeah. I don't have any personal UFO stories or sightings. There was one time where my boyfriend and I walked outside of our house. He was about to go, and we looked up and we saw these floating lights, and they were moving in such a weird way. We got really concerned. We just looked at each other. We're like, "What is that?" No, actually, what is that? Because they weren't just disappearing. They weren't going away. It was like 7 or 8, like golden glowing orbs just floating in the sky, like way high up in the sky. And so we're like, all right, hop in the car. We're going to go like drive towards that direction. So we got in the car and we drove, and we went to go find where are these coming from? So we drove towards the lights. We went towards the lights. The next neighborhood over, there was a group of people gathered, lighting those lanterns and letting them off into the sky. So yeah.
What a letdown.
What initially started as like, what the F is that? Turned into, oh, that's cute.
You should have just been like, a UFO, and ran inside.
Then we drove by, we're like, oh, okay. That makes sense now. Great.
So, another thing that happened, I've only had like 2 UFO sightings, encounters, whatever you want to call it. But there was one time, Raver was with me. We were driving back to my house, and we were in my neighborhood. And I'm trying to describe the time of day so you can get a visual of why it was weird. So it was like right, when the sky turns blue at night?
Kind of like twilight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like right before that when there's like just a little bit of sunset, like the pretty orange color.
Golden hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was like right in between golden hour and when it gets blue.
Blue hour?
Yeah. So it was like almost dark, but not really.
Okay.
So we're driving neighborhood speed limits, which is usually like 25 around here.
Yeah.
This thing out of nowhere in our car, it came from
in your car.
Not the like.
Okay.
It wasn't in our car,
Okay.
but we're in our car, and then out of the front, we just saw like a plane light. And we're like,
yeah, little like
don't-
blinking ones.
yeah.
With, like ding.
well, we didn't think about it because they're just a plane.
Yeah.
But then we realized it's moving really fast, and then we realized it's really close.
Hmm.
Then we looked even more at it. It's not blinking. It's another ball of light like the first time I saw it. And it's traveling so fast. It literally went from the beginning of my neighborhood to my house, which is probably like a half a mile.
Dang.
It went through the whole neighborhood though, before we even got like, I don't know how to, like it literally was going like, not plane. It was like so much faster than a plane.
Weird. How high up in the sky was it? Was it like in front, or was it about plane level where a plane would be?
It was way lower than
way lower than plane. Okay.
Like you could tell it was close, but all you saw was a ball of light.
Huh.
And it was close. Like kind of like, helicopters, they don't go up besides planes. It was like in between that and the ground.
Okay.
Like
weird.
low.
So low flying.
Low.
Ugh.
And it literally went through the whole neighborhood so fast. It was close enough we could tell. There was no propellers. It was not a helicopter.
I know there's gonna be a lot of people like, it was a drone.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, maybe, but you have to have specific licenses now to fly drones.
Yeah.
We stopped. So, I work at a place that sells drones and electronics and things like that, and we just stopped getting drones in. We have not had
No
any
one could buy
drones.
it?
I guess that there's like some new thing from what I had heard and was told, there's some new thing going on where if you own a drone, you can like fly it in your backyard and like near like places that like you own. But if you need to take it anywhere else or fly it anywhere else, you have to have like a license for it.
Yeah.
So we've just got nothing. We've had no drones for like 3 months.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I know River had to try to do the class, but it's literally a pilot license you have to get now.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah. So slowly, it seems more and more less likely that it's a drone.
Yeah.
Like maybe back when drones were like the big thing, it's like, oh, it's just a drone in the
Yeah.
sky. I know there are also some sightings that have been debunked as Project Loon. Did you ever hear of Project Loon?
I don't think so.
So it was this company that they were setting off weather balloons, like legitimate, like actual just weather balloons.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember when there was a video that somebody had posted, and I believe they sent it to a group called Corridor to ask them to basically figure out what this is, because he took it with his phone or with his like camera, and it was a time lapse. So that he sent them the raw footage, and they went through and they looked at it, and the flight pattern of this light over time matched almost exactly the flight pattern of a weather balloon from Project Loon. And so a lot of the UFO sightings on that during that time were actual weather balloons. So when people were like, oh, it's just a weather balloon, it was just a weather balloon for the most part.
Another thing, people get triggered when you call something a UFO, but that's literally what the name is.
Mm-hmm.
It's an unidentified flying object. So when people get triggered when you're like, it was a UFO, that's what a UFO is.
Yeah. The only thing I'm finding on Loon, I'd have to go back and look for the information on it. It was just a project where they were sending up weather balloons to kind of just keep an eye on like weather, as they do.
Yeah.
And weather pattern and things like that. But now the only thing I can find on Loon is like Google-related internet access something or other. So I'm not even going to try and dig through that rabbit hole right now. But yeah,
I don't want to get stuck there.
Project Loon weather balloons were the cause for UFO sightings for a good while.
So when I was researching UFOs and like the first sightings of them, who saw them first?
The Egyptians building the pyramids, Stonehenge.
So the internet claims that it was World War II,
Okay,
like military.
of course.
They are the first ones that like gave it a name, basically.
Right.
And so they're like, there's these things that were flying around and we don't know what they were.
We're going to call them
it a
unidentified
UFO.
flying objects.
Yeah.
Call it like it is.
Which is exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
What do they call it now? Unidentified aerospace phenomenon or aerial phenomenon?
Yeah,
or something?
I don't understand. Yeah, ETH.
It's UAP. They switched it from UFO to UAP. It's anomalous. That's what it was. They switched from UFO to UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomena. So that's most of the time you just hear government officials saying UAP a lot instead of UFOs or...
Well, probably because the public got a hold of UFO and now they use it incorrectly.
Yeah. Because, I mean, an identified flying object can literally be... If you didn't know this was Snickers... Oh, what was that? That was a UFO. Oh my god. Full on actually hit the camera.
It did. In a transition.
Yeah. But I mean that's a UFO.
Yeah.
So now they just use unidentified anomalous phenomena as like a do.
So 90% of claims have been tried. They've tried to dismiss it as, first off, an aura.
Aura? Like a person's aura?
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know how you could just throw your aura around, but...
I mean, some people throw a lot of things around, but I don't know that I don't want to throw my aura around.
So there's auras, meteors.
Maybe they mean auras as in like the sun, like it being an aura,
like a
of
flare.
light around something.
Got
Not
it.
necessarily like an aura, like our aura. I got a little spiritual there.
Yeah. Well.
Sorry. I said got a little spiritual there, and the cat ball went off. Anyway,
Stop. We've been trying. Okay, off camera, we've been trying. Okay, you guys don't like.
Yeah, apparently you
when
don't like when we
stop
stop on
talking.
tangents.
But we just have to tell you, so it's on the record. I hope
Again,
that camera is still recording because it's the only one that can see. There's a cat ball that we've always had on this.
It's
on our
never
set.
gone off.
Never gone off. And today, before we were even filming, it's been
like
going off.
5 times.
And when we were just sitting here, we heard a weird phone ring.
It's going again.
If my phone's not recording.
I'm gonna turn it off and on again.
It's been a solid hour since it's gone off last time too. Like, when's the last time it went off? When the air turned on that one time. It should be going off again.
And next door is not. It's doing it. It's just gonna go off. It's just gonna go off. We're just gonna have a cat ball going off.
Which we've been asking.
Through this we've been asking this whole time up until we started for this cat ball to go off. It's just gonna go off now. So hi, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we don't have the spirit talker
You're
on this time.
you're gonna hang out with us and you're gonna listen to us talk about UFOs. Hope
Are
you like
you
that.
a UFO?
It went off when you pointed. That'd be hilarious. So we're gonna hang out with the entity while we talk about UFOs. Maybe they'll chime in. You never know.
Maybe they.
Well, maybe we'll get a solid EVP out of this.
Oh,
Could you imagine?
come speak into this mic.
Speak in the microphone. Oh,
If we just hear like
ghost ASMR. What do people like to debunk UFOs as?
So, well, classic clouds, because that
Oh, yeah.
that makes sense, because a cloud can just woo through the sky like that. I mean, every time I've seen a cloud, it just sits there puffy like,
Yeah.
but
That, or if I guess certain wind patterns can cause clouds to make weird shapes, and I guess you could mistake that as like a UFO, but that's
yeah.
some strong wind to make a cloud move like that.
Yeah. Other things they've said are meteors, which
That makes sense.
I get.
That tracks. But again, is it a meteor? Are you sure it's a meteor? Maybe it's not a meteor.
Is it
Maybe
a
it's
meteor?
maybe it's a UAP.
So, and then other stuff like that, like planets and stars that people see, but I've never seen a planet.
I mean, you see planets all the time. They're in the
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That was that was the people next door moving, and that didn't go off.
Yeah. They've been hitting the wall occasionally, but weird. It's not going off now. It's like SpaceX that landed the other night. You hear a huge bang, and felt like my whole house was shaking. My walls in my room shook.
Yeah.
And I looked at my boyfriend. I was like, "What was that?"
Yeah.
And so we went outside. We went in the backyard. I was looking around with a flashlight. I was ready to fight someone. I really thought someone was trying to break into the house, and I was ready to you gonna get it. And then we went out the front yard. I'm like peeking over. We went to the front afterwards, but while we were looking in the back, I climbed over. I was peeking over my fence like Wilson from Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah.
I was peeking over the fence trying to figure out what the heck that was. Went in the front yard, looked around, nothing. And he looked up, he was like, "Oh, SpaceX entered the atmosphere." I was like, "Oh, okay." That makes sense.
The funny thing is, when I heard it, no one else in my house heard it. Apparently, my dad thought it was me dropping something. I was like, "What did I drop that made that sound?"
Yeah.
Excuse me. I was like,
drop.
good thing it wasn't bombs coming after us or something, because y'all would be dead.
No, but as far as like meteors and planets and stuff, I've seen, so there are times when the planets are obviously closer because of the rotation and all that.
Yeah.
But sometimes the stars shine brighter during certain parts of the night than others, and like certain parts of the year. And they twinkle. If you don't understand that stars twinkle in the sky because of the gases, then you might think it's a UFO, but I'm pretty sure almost everyone knows the difference between a planet of burning gas shining light in the sky between something going
Yeah.
But,
like a triangle in the sky or something. I
Yeah.
didn't know the planets were triangles.
Yeah. The other thing I saw with the whole there are videos out there where they're like, "Look at this thing in the sky," but then there's a street light a little bit below it, and you can tell if the street light's over here and the shining light that you're seeing is over here, and then your camera is moving and they match up. It's a lens flare. It's a lens flare. So the other thing that I've seen with videos and debunking channels trying to figure out if something is a UFO or not is cameras. I'm pointing at it like they could see it. I mean, this one probably can. I don't know. Cameras have the little curtain shields that block the light. They
Yes.
open and close aperture. Depending on the quality of camera, that cover is only going to have so many slides on it. And a bokeh, which is that like diffusion of light from behind people, like makes everything blurry.
Yes. Yeah.
So those lights are basically whatever shape that framing is of the aperture. So if you only have 3 and it closes and opens and it's only 3 of them and it's a low quality camera, the little light in the sky that's shining and kind of has a bokeh effect that's moving is going to be the shape of that lens.
Yeah. And the camera's not going to notice the difference between something there and the lens.
Yeah. And then also, I've seen some places they sell those little covers you can put on the front of cameras that have the shapes. So you can force a shaped bokeh.
Yeah.
So
like hearts or diamonds.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, very well could be somebody just forcing a shape via the camera, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We weren't there. We don't know.
Other things that they've claimed were balloons, which, like you said, could be true.
Yep. Weather balloons.
Not your classic balloon.
Eye balloons.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh. Birds.
Yeah. Well, they also. Did you ever hear the thing about? This will be a podcast topic for a later date, but Mothman. A lot of people tried to claim that it was a sandhill crane.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, oh, Mothman. Yeah, it was just a sandhill crane, just a really big bird.
Casual.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
But yeah, I don't know what kind of bird could fly that fast. Cause
a lot of them fly pretty quick, but
and you can see their wings flapping.
There was one surveillance footage, or like the jets that have the cameras with I think it's like Air Force or somebody flying where they have the cameras on the jets where they are monitoring.
Yes.
They got something where it looked like it was going super fast, but the thing is, it could have been just a bird, and they could have been going the opposite direction of it.
Yeah.
Because if something is going at its regular like calm speed, and you're in a jet, and you're going, and your camera's pointing down at it, following it, it's gonna look like it's going a lot faster.
Because it's not it.
So if something is going fairly quick this direction, something's going super fast this direction, it's gonna make that look an instant. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways to debunk stuff. The alien thing, there are just so many ways to prove that, not necessarily prove, but claim that, this is what it could be, this is what it was. But there's not a whole lot out there of like, oh no, we for sure know that this is what it is.
Yeah.
But then again, if someone was to approach you with like actual evidence, a majority of us have been conditioned to think, oh, people that believe in UFOs and stuff like that, oh, they're crazy. They're psycho, they've got something wrong with them. But what if they don't?
Yeah.
We're so quick to dismiss anybody that says they have proof about UFOs and aliens because we're so used to, that's silly.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to our first episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for people to just be like, nah, that's fake.
Yeah, I'm just going to go about my normal life.
Yeah.
That's too wild for me.
Yeah. There's clearly nothing out there.
Yeah. But also, if you think that we're the only things in the entirety of the universe.
Yeah. What does that even mean? No one even knows what that means.
Well, the universe is ever expanding.
Yeah.
So if we're the only entities in the entire universe, come on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I know, Christian point of view, people use the Bible a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bible also says God won't tell you everything because you don't need to know everything.
Oh, it sounds a lot like the government.
But, like, it's true. If the universe is so big, and like you said, it's just like, never ends. It's just always going to be changing. Then how do you know? Then why is everyone just like, oh, no.
I like to think that we're in this, like, in the Men in Black world where it's all just a galaxy inside of a marble inside of a cat's collar.
Yeah.
I like to think that that's what we are.
That'd be funny if we, like, someone got out and we're, like, on a flower somewhere.
We're the Who's. Yeah. Oh, man.
Horton's got us somewhere.
Yep, he's keeping us in his little dandelion.
And then the last thing, people try to debunk UFOs as searchlights. And I get what they mean here, the like
Yeah.
when they drop down when UFOs drop down a ray of light. And that doesn't explain how like cows float up into their spacecraft, okay?
I feel like that's like the biggest trope that it was used for so long, where it's like there's like there's cows flying up in this little light, and I don't see it hardly in anything anymore. I almost never see cows being used as like, beam me up, Louie. I don't know. I know my boyfriend has some like UFO stories, and I've got a friend of mine, Cammie, who's got some wild ones too. I'll have to get some of those and we can like revisit this and have like a UFO story time.
I feel like UFOs are going to be a constant thing. Because I feel like viewers are going to have...
Well, I mean, you heard about the Las Vegas incident back in May.
Yes.
Where this family they're in their backyard and they're recording. It's on TikTok. And we all know that everything on TikTok is true.
That's gotta be true.
It's on the internet. Must be true.
Yeah.
They're recording. They're like, someone's holding the camera, recording them all, like looking out their fence, and they're not speaking English, so I have no idea what they're saying. And so they're all talking to each other, and they're opening the fence. The guy walks out of the fence, and then he like runs back in.
Yeah, and then the whole family runs after him.
The kid has a thing in his hands. I don't know if I can say it because of YouTube, but he is at the ready.
Yeah.
And so he's got that down by his side, ready to go in case they get like bombarded by something. And it's a decent quality video because it's from a phone, but you still get the pixelization from the compression of the file.
Yeah.
And so you can't see what they're seeing clearly. What they said, they called the police for this. Like the cops actually showed up at the house, and they were taking them seriously because the officer's partner also saw something fall out of the sky.
Oh my gosh.
So the guy was like, this is the only reason I'm really taking you guys seriously right now, is my partner saw something, and so I want to see some aliens.
That's
I think
funny.
At one point he said. They said they were between 8 and 10 feet tall, green humanoid looking figures, but they were not human, and they were naked.
Yeah.
And their eyes were shining, and it was like in their backyard, but not quite their backyard. They were like looking through. I don't understand. They said it was in their backyard, but the fence they were looking through looked like it was out into a larger farmish area. There was like yellow bulldozers and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a photo of like it's circled where this is what we're looking at.
Oh, that was you. Did you touch? You
No.
didn't. Okay.
But like they circled and like this is what we saw, but you can't see what it is.
Yeah.
It's so pixelated. I could not tell you what I was looking at.
People can tell you something and make.
I'm just blaming it being on the table or something. Maybe
I didn't
hitting
touch
the
table
ground.
that time.
Once it stops, I'm gonna slam my feet on the ground. We're gonna see if it sets it off.
There's a cat ball going off if you guys can't see.
Yeah. I need it to stop so I can slam my feet on the ground so we can debunk this.
It's not stopping. It should have stopped by now.
Sometimes they go a while.
I'm not near the table.
I got nothing.
Debunked.
I got nothing.
We both didn't. My hands float around the table, but I wasn't touching. Yeah, we can touch the table.
I got nothing.
Does it go off?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But yeah, I don't know. They released some of the body cam footage. Obviously, some of it is blacked out because of privacy reasons.
Yeah.
But they said it was multiple.
Now that is not us. I didn't even move.
Yep. Nope. We just have a friend with us today, I guess. Multiple. They've moved from here to here. Beings, non-human entities, possibly, that were in their yard. This was in May this year, and the first I had heard about it was probably like last night, and then the interview I believe happened with David Grosh last night as well.
Yeah.
So the cops just released that footage. So, I don't know. I need to rewatch it again. Hi. I need to rewatch the footage again. I know. I keep thinking maybe it's us. Like, maybe there's something we're doing to set it off, but
like this time we weren't even talking with our hands. We were both sitting.
I'm trying to purposefully stay still.
It stopped and started again that fast. Hello.
Whatever, man. What's up? We talk about ghosts, and we get a ton of stuff. Talk about fairies, not as much. Talk about aliens that also may walk in the ethereal plane in a dimension that we cannot see because we just can't only see in 3 dimensions. I don't know. Weird.
They're from the 4th dimension.
I mean, they might be. It's a legitimate possibility.
I think they go through portals anywhere they want.
Yeah, where it's like time's not linear where they live, so it's kind of like, what was that movie that came out? I can't remember what it was called. It was where it had to do with the aliens that touched down, and they had them like they were teaching each other like a language.
Oh yeah.
So they could learn it. I can't remember the name of that movie. That's gonna bug me. I'll figure it out later. It's like that where they don't live in the same timeline type thing, where they can just kind of go skip around wherever they want.
Yeah.
Which that brings in the whole other topic of like time travel and stuff like this. This is like podcast upon podcast topics to get into later. But yeah, with the interview and the footage being released and NASA having their meeting a couple weeks ago or like a week or so ago about the same thing, it just is seeming more and more like people might finally understand that no, we're not alone.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what comes of this. The interview definitely piqued my interest because I've always thought there were some type of alien beings.
Yeah.
But I don't have any personal moments where I've seen anything like that aside from the random lanterns. I'm gonna let you talk now. Every time I talk, this thing goes off.
It's when we say certain things, it's like agreeing with
We
us.
gotta like go back through and look at it and what we're saying when the light goes off and see what that.
We on purpose are sitting perfectly still now.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to not move as much just for this, but
There's no way. We did not move a muscle so intentionally that time.
I'm gonna turn it off and on again. I'm gonna do it like I did with the other one.
Put it in that one.
I'm gonna switch sides. Let's see what happens now. All right, your turn.
Anyway, like we were saying before. Oh, so anyway, when I was researching, the internet says all this stuff. What is a UFO? Blah, 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 blah. Says all this stuff. What's alien? Blah, 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 blah. And it's always like, but there's no confirmation about any of this information.
Yeah, the guy that is like the head of the UAP or UFO task force, UAP task force or whatever, recently did he recently put out a statement saying that as of right now, there is no proof of anything of the sort or something. I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
Yeah. But also they say they are in contact with them, so how does that work?
I mean, well, David said that they were in contact with them, and the other guy is saying that there's no definitive, like, yeah, there is yet. Like, no, there's nothing. There's not, as of right now. But the fact that David Grosh was able to get a whistleblower claim and have it be set as credible enough to raise the concern to where he should be able to talk about it, I mean, I feel like that says enough. His credentials have been verified.
Yeah.
He is who he says he is. He worked where he says he worked. He was involved in the UAP task force.
Yeah.
So.
That's your proof.
Yeah. I don't know why he would have any reason to lie. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of body language experts going through and analyzing every last bit of his interview.
Well, both of us were very empathetic. Me watching it, I could tell that he can't say what he wants to say.
It was very clearly that the guy kept pushing, was like, well, you have to.
Yeah.
We need a definitive answer for this. He's like I can't.
Yeah, little journalist guy, you don't have to say.
Yeah, it's like if it's classified information that has not been declassified, he cannot say anything or he will go away.
Yes.
We'll put it that way. He'll go away in some form or another.
Yes.
Just because his concerns have been deemed credible does not mean that he's allowed to talk about anything and everything.
Yeah. Pause really quick. That battery's somehow dead now.
Oh.
Are you using our batteries again so you can set off the candles?
What was that battery at when we started?
It was full. They're all full.
But we switched which sides the camera was on.
Yep. And now that one's dying. We took a break because the same
thing happened. We switched which sides the cameras were on.
Yes.
Because we were having issues with the camera on my side recording this angle would shut off, the battery would drain, it would overheat, menu buttons would just be getting pushed.
Yep.
Like it was changing the focus on its own, like the settings would go in, when I went up to it one time, the screen for do you want manual or autofocus was open.
Which you have to hit a button.
Yeah, we heard an audible click on it.
Yeah.
And it was that menu was up, but nobody's manning these cameras. They're on tripods.
Yeah.
So that was weird. And so we decided, you know what? Screw it. We're switching which side the cameras are on.
Yeah.
Still, this one's battery is draining and
Yeah.
it's acting up and overheating.
This one's been fine. The
Yeah.
battery is still way more than half full.
Yeah. Weird. Anyways,
Anyways.
moving on.
So, what are your thoughts on Area 51?
That one, I feel, at this point has become such a touristy location. Any truthful information that you would want to find on it would be so hard to get.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have not looked into Area 51 in a very long time because, to be honest, it kind of lost its flair for me with how just like jokey it's become.
Yeah.
I know there was didn't a bunch of people go to Area 51 on 420?
Yeah.
I don't know
why.
I don't know what that was about, but I remember seeing it and seeing like a giant like group
But they were
gathering of people
They
at
were
Area
trying
51.
to invade it, weren't they? As if that.
I think they were just having like a smoke out party, claiming like they wanted to invade Area 51.
Because who in their right mind actually thinks they could invade Area 51?
Say bye-bye. You would go away. I don't know. I've never been to Area 51. I've never been in that state ever.
Yeah.
I would like to go. It's in Nevada, correct? New
I
Mexico?
think so.
Is it New Mexico or Nevada?
It's just strange though because that's where all the big
Because
UFO
there's
and alien sightings
there's
are.
a lot of stuff. I'm gonna feel like an idiot. This is how much I've stopped paying attention to Area 51. I don't even remember where it's at.
I would if
Nevada. Okay,
Yeah.
it's Nevada. Also, can we just break away and talk about how Google or whatever has started using, or no, Brave browser has started using, powered by Brave AI, for summaries of what you're looking up, and not a lot of the time it's not accurate. I try and like look something up and it pops up this like text of information and I'll look through it, I'll be like, that's not right. And I'll look farther down and I'll be like, powered by Brave AI. It basically takes everything that you searched, pieces of all the websites, pushes them together and summarizes it in a little blip at the very top. So it's not always accurate.
So it's like this could be true, could be parts of it could
These
be
are
fake.
things of what you're searching about. I don't know if this is it, but here you go.
Yeah.
So don't base your search answers on the very first thing that pops up on the browser.
Yeah.
So Area 51 is in Nevada. I've never been to Nevada to visit and stay for a long period of time. I've probably driven through it. Well, I haven't been driven through it. But I've never gone to like see it.
Yeah.
And yeah, all of the crazy UFO stuff that happens to be out in Nevada and in that area. There's also a ton of haunted locations
Yeah.
in Nevada and Virginia City, and probably in Vegas. I know there's a huge chunk of haunted places in Virginia City, like the Washoe Club, and I think is the Mitzvah Hotel is in Vegas, or is that in Nevada? Because the Clown Hotel is in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Or like Creepy Clown Hotel.
Mitzvah is right down the street from it, isn't it?
Yeah, and so there's a lot of weird, creepy locations that have hauntings in Nevada.
Yeah.
There's also a bunch of possible alien research and UFO research, UAP research, whatever, being done in Nevada.
Yeah.
Weird. I wonder if there's some like crazy quartz or limestone deposits in Nevada too. I wonder if there are ley lines that like go through Nevada. We'll have to look that up. Someone let us know down below. But it's so crazy that Nevada is just the central point of weird.
Yeah.
We should go there.
Yeah.
I want to go to Virginia City real bad.
And Roswell.
Roswell was in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, close. It is close to Nevada.
That'd be interesting. Little road trip to drive through.
We should do it. There are a ton of places in Virginia City we could check out.
Because I think we'd have to drive through New Mexico, so it's like on the way.
Yeah. Basically, this is also, we plan on doing an eventual, like, paranormal road trip.
Yes.
Where we drive from our location to just various other locations to investigate, and then get to like our big main part, and then go back down, and then we can either just drive straight back or do other points along the way. But I think that will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. So with that being said, make sure to like this video.
Yeah, like this video, subscribe, please help. We have to be able to afford this trip, and Lord knows, both of my jobs, no. There's no way in heck I could afford a road trip based on just that.
But sneak peek into the next podcast episode, we're going over our dream investigation destinations.
Our investigation destinations.
Yes.
Where we would like to go the most.
Yes. So, if you have any topics you'd like us to cover in that episode, leave it down below.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll cover it, and there probably will be a part 2 at least.
Right? And I know there are a few places where I'm excited to talk about, just because they have this huge reputation of being super haunted and really like so many weird, crazy things happen there. And then you look up the history and you're like, oh,
yeah,
tourist trap. Gotcha.
If you think you know what she's talking about, leave it in the comments below.
Yeah. Do you know where I'm talking about?
Stop.
I saw shut up.
No.
It's probably just a person walking by.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. But I feel like if anyone also has any UFO sightings or weird, like crazy off the cuff alien experiences,
yes,
leave them in the comments below.
Yeah. And then we'll make a part 2 and then share your stories.
Yeah, we'll have a little UFO story time. Talk about all the crazy things that have happened with people in UFO sightings and what they've experienced and what they can talk about. That'd be fun. I look forward to that one too.
Another thing I've heard that's creepy about aliens and UFOs recently is like the number 1 sightings for UFOs is in like national parks. And that's also the number 1 place people go missing is in national parks.
With the random, I don't know if you're even supposed to talk about them, the random staircases. There's also like all the fault line or something in Yellowstone is having some troubles recently. But yeah, no, national parks and people going missing, that seems like totally normal thing, because people go hiking in parks, they get hurt, or they just like run off and don't tell anyone where they've gone. But yes, national parks are full of unexplainable weird situations.
Yeah.
So especially with epidermis crawlers and other various creatures of the night.
Yeah.
That can come and get you.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think of the topics we covered today. Let us know what you think is a real, actual excuse for debunking UFOs.
Yeah, if you have any actual things that can debunk anything that we've talked about that we haven't already tried to debunk.
Yeah. Because obviously people's stories, like the internet, people could say it's fake. But if it's not.
Yeah. Or if you have any like actual video proof, I mean, send it our way. The email is in the description. We'd love to hear your stories. We'd love to talk about them.
Yes.
And if you need like help figuring out if it's like real or not, or you need like a second opinion, or you want someone just to see like, hey, what is this? Let us know. We'll look at it. We'll have some other videographer people take a look, see if they can't parse what's going on. But yeah.
We're going to have some guests soon, so be on the lookout for that. We're excited about that.
I know that our next guest is super stoked to come on. He was very excited whenever we asked him.
You guys are going to get a lot of energy from that.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could harness the amount of energy that he
know.
has. It is so wonderful. Oh, man, he has so much energy. What if these things are so active whenever he's here?
He's going to give them all his energy.
And he'll just be on the podcast drained. Gosh.
That would be weird, a day that we see him, like,
with no
normal
energy. Oh, my gosh. That boy's a firecracker. I guess we'll find out more spooky happenings next episode.
Yes.
Because we don't want to push these too long.
Yes.
Because I know my attention span and your attention span can only handle so much.
Yes.
There are certain things where, an hour is great. And there are other things where it's like, yo.
Yeah. Get over it.
Get it over with, y'all. But we're probably gonna turn on the spirit talker after we turn these cameras off and see if we get anything weird.
Oh, wait. Okay. Let's end this podcast and then I'll say something.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, secrets. But until next time, guys, creep it real.
Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.